Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Healthcare Education Transformation Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. F. Scott Field, and it's that time of year again. PT in the Community is making its annual appearance at APTA CSM in Houston, Texas this year. We are going to be there February 13th through the 15th. And so, who better to talk about this than one of the founders of PT in the Community, Dr. Patrick Berner. Patrick, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Always a pleasure to chat with you. This is one of the events that I look forward to most at CSM now. It's something that is near and dear to my heart. Obviously, having been one of the founders with you and Jerry Durham the first year we ever did it, 2018 maybe, in New Orleans.
Yeah,
Is that when it was?
2018. Yeah.
Man, how this thing has grown. You have done a phenomenal job, my friend, of leading this charge. For those that don't know, tell us a little bit about what PT in the Community is.
Yeah, so PT in the community, it started as a grassroots initiative, right? And as you said, myself, you and Jerry Durham, the idea kind of sprung when we were in New Orleans for CSM 2018. And the thought really came about that there's a lot of people that come to this conference. You get 15, 16, 18,000 people that come into a city, but what do we really do for the locals that live there? So back then we had some local connections to someone whose kid's school was having a chili cook-off, right? And we found ourselves there. We ate, we drank, we had a ton of fun, and it was like, man, it's really cool to leave the convention center, go out and contribute to the locals that live there. So that's where that idea started. And from there, it's kind of grown to have the mission to impact those local and underserved and disadvantaged communities, specifically in the cities that we visit for physical therapy conferences. Over the last 7 to 8 years, it's been focused on CSM, and it's grown from that grassroots initiative of a GoFundMe to a 501(c)(3) nonprofit that operates as such. And with that mission to give back, every year for CSM, what we do usually 9 months in advance is we do a community needs assessment. We try and figure out what population of folks are on greatest need within that community. CSM next month is in Houston, so we've been kind of looking at things for them for a very long time. A lot of our collaboration has been with the Texas Physical Therapy Association and their leadership and their guidance and who would be our best local director that we've got there in Houston to help set up these awesome opportunities that we've got coming up.
Yeah, so one of the reasons I love this so much is because there is so many opportunities to volunteer and to give back and see, my CSM schedule packs out pretty quick, right? So if it's not like it's just one day, one meeting for an hour, and if I can't make it, I can't make it. There's so many opportunities, and they're all amazing opportunities. Tell us a little bit about what we have in store for this year.
Oh man, there's a lot. So, it seems that every year kind of grows, but we've always got the intent to give opportunity to clinicians and students in exposure to helping those across the age spectrum and various spectrums of populations of people. So, we've got things that serve younger kids, middle-aged folks, and then even older adults. One of the things that we'll kick off on Wednesday, the 12th, that day before CSM officially starts, is a health and fall screening event at a local JCC. We'll be doing some health and fall screening with the older adults that use that facility. But then we actually segue into a fitness and balance class that we're going to do with those folks, right? We're going to be educating on some better ways to strength train, some better ways to address balance, right? So kind of teaching some folks how to do some safe exercise. We've shipped a bunch of equipment and stuff to them already. We're going to really be pushing them beyond the traditional chair exercises that these folks do at the facility. So they've got a tons of dumbbells, kettlebells, and things now that they probably don't know what to do with, but we're going to show them how to use it safely on that Wednesday. And then we've got two speakers that are coming in for a luncheon that they're going to be talking about what to do after the unfortunate circumstance that you may fall. So we've got a bunch of gymnastic mats down there. We're going to teach people how to get up off the ground if they do fall, but then also all of the other important things that someone needs to consider. So that kicks off Wednesday. What we've got going on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday varies. There is opportunity to volunteer with a local shelter, and that shelter being called Star of Hope for their men and women shelter, serving lunch that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So there's sign-up slots for that. The men's shelter is a 5-minute walk from the convention center. The women's shelter is about a 10-minute drive. So you've got that option to just serve lunch, right? Even open to anyone that may not be comfortable in their clinical skills, or maybe even students that want to just kind of give back. I think that's a great way to contribute. Thursday morning, actually 10:30 to noon in the convention center, we're going to be putting together care packages. So this is one of the things that we do every year is we pick some organizations that we can put together care bags. So we've got Star of Hope, again, who we're supporting and putting together some hygiene kits for people experiencing homelessness. I think we're set to put together about 150 of those. And then we're supporting a local organization called Bear Bags. And what they do is they support kids that are in CPS custody. And we're putting together 45 duffel bags for those kiddos age 5 to 12. And those consist of things, blankets, teddy bears, coloring books, stuff to kind of uplift kids in addition to just general supplies they may need. And then we're putting together these graduation kits for an organization called Belinesio, which supports women that have experienced domestic violence. But what they do in their support is they facilitate 5K training for these folks, right? So it's kind of a twofer in addressing their mental and other well-being needs, but their physical needs as well. So we're putting together bags that those women, once they finish the programming, would get kind of on graduation day. So again, putting those together Thursday morning. Saturday, man, there's a lot going on Saturday. We've got something that's going on with Dance Source Houston. So this is a day-long event. They're going to be doing a day of dancer screening that's going to be happening off-site at the Match Houston Gallery space, where it's just going to be a whole day of dancers from the local community coming in and doing some movement screens. So opportunities to volunteer for that in the morning and then also in the afternoon. We're also in collaboration with Houston Parks and Rec, where we're going to be using one of their local community centers and doing some health and fall screening with locals that use that facility. So we'll be doing some senior screening with them, probably some other screening with folks living with disabilities, some DME checks and stuff like that. Because this facility that we're in also specializes in adaptive sports. So a lot of those folks are in and out of this facility every day. So we're going to try and lend a hand as we can. And then lastly, one of the things that has become a consistent, and I think will for the future of what we do, is the Narcan training that we're going to be doing in the expo hall. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the TPTA booth, so the Texas chapter booth, during unopposed hours of the expo hall, we're going to be doing spot Narcan training, right? So just a 10-15-minute training on how to administer nasal Narcan if you find yourself in a situation where someone is in need of that emergency medication. And then the awesome thing for this year is, in support by a local organization, is we're going to have 250 boxes of Narcan to be giving out to folks that come and do that training. Each box comes with 2 doses. So yeah, I mean, F. Scott, there's a lot going on during this CSM, a lot of opportunity for people to volunteer on site, never leaving the convention center, or if you can break away for an hour or two, give back in a different way.
Yeah, I love doing the putting together the bags and stuff because you run a tight ship and it is like a well-oiled machine, man. We have stations set up and we're just all having a good time. I mean, the network that I've grown to know just from PT in the community is outstanding. Every single person there is just, an amazing person that I've met and I've kept in touch with. And they keep coming back year after year and they bring friends and they bring friends. And that's the hope is that, yeah, you volunteer, but, bring your students, bring your, clinicians, your staff, like whoever you want to bring to this thing. I strongly recommend it because not only is it a good time, it's a good purpose. But all these people are having a big impact and they're really doing great things beyond just like, oh, I'm a physical therapist. I clock in and out at 9 to 5, right? Like, this is really having some long lasting impact. And I think one of the cool things is when you start a program like this, you kind of have to wonder a little bit about sustainability, right? And is what we implemented working 3, 4, 5 years later, right? Like it's not just a one and done for that one day. Like we want some lasting impact with this, right? We want people to know what physical therapists do. It's a great way to advocate and educate. And yeah, it's like, hey, you don't have to leave the conference center if you don't want to, but I strongly recommend that too, because those events are fun too. So, with regards to sustainability, what do you have coming down the pipeline in the future?
Yeah, so that's always been our mission is trying to determine how do we become sustainable. And one of the things that we have kind of implemented in what we do is in all of these events, especially the ones that we do off-site, it's always in collaboration with local clinicians or local DPT or PTA programs, and that whatever relationship is created, that it's continued to be had and fostered with the locals. So we'll do the initial run of a health and fall screen at the JCC and at the Houston Rack, but then the hope is let's get some sort of quarterly biannual thing going that the locals continue, right? We've supplied the initial supplies, all of the blood pressure cuffs and dynamometers, all the things that are needed to do a general screen. We supply that initial stuff, and it's just really getting locals to continue it from there. So that's always an important piece in the sustainability. The other thing too is what we're sort of getting a little bit better at, right? Still a lot of growth to be had, is trying to figure out what those sustainability markers are and even impact markers, and trying to think of reach of where this stuff goes beyond what we do during CSM. One of the first ones I think in terms of measuring impact is going to be looking at the Narcan training. And because what I didn't mention with that is, we've got folks that are doing the training at the convention center, but what we've also done prior to that is we've put 11 individuals that have been appointed by TPTA. We've put them through a trainer program for Narcan administration, right? So then they are tasked with going out into their own communities, right, across the state of Texas to educate folks on how to administer Narcan. So what we're going to be looking at is measuring impact numbers, right? How many people have we how many people have we trained, right, over X amount of time? And that goes back from all the other cities that we've done it before. So measuring impact in that way. But then I think for us, where one of the cool things is going to be to measure sustainability and impact is going to be in Anaheim, right, in 2026. In that whatever we come up with, whatever programming we initiate, whatever thing we do, does it have legs and can it grow? And can we notice marked change when we go back to Anaheim in 2029? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really cool, unique opportunity we have coming up for that. So I think, for anybody interested in getting involved, that'll be a really good one too, because it's, again, we're going to be right back there in a couple of years seeing how it grew, what impact did it have, and just kind of crunching the numbers a little, doing the research and seeing like, hey, is this working? We kind of know that it's working. We just got to show the data behind it to keep supporting it and keep pushing it and keep showing this is a pretty solid initiative and here's the data to prove it, right?
Yeah. And what's really cool too with our transition now and into a formal 501c3 is the ability to apply for community grants.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an avenue that we pursue for Anaheim and in trying to get grant funding to really solidify some of that sustainability in what we
Yep.
do.
Yeah, what a cool initiative and a bright outlook on the future of this thing, man. It is just, like you said, the growth has been grassroots, gradual over time. And I get like, sometimes you just get busy, the conference gets overwhelming and stuff, and you don't always have the time. But there's also opportunities to just donate too, right? If you don't have the physical time, you can donate to the cause. Tell us a little bit about that opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely, right? So through the PT in the community, you're able to donate, right? So on the website, there's a link for that where you can donate any amount of funds, even if it's $5. Everything kind of adds up and goes a long way. All of our funding is directly reallocated to that local community that we're serving. So when you think of funding necessary for care packages, equipment, all of that stuff is all donation money that we essentially are just reallocating to that local community.
I love that. So we've talked about all the opportunities. We've talked about the possibility to donate. Where can people start looking for this stuff? Where can they find the opportunities to sign up and to donate and all that?
Yeah, so if you go through the Orthopedic Physical Therapy, the Academy of Orthopedic Physical Therapy's website, you can find us on there through their events tab, PT in the community. So orthopt.org is their main page. And then again, that events tab, PT in the community, will bring you to our main site page. Through that main site page has link for donation, but then also the link to our schedule of events where you can see what's going on, see the times that things are happening every day, the room numbers that some things are happening in on site, and then the links to sign up and volunteer for those things. If you follow the HET podcast in their social media, right, you'll be able to get links there.
Yep.
Social media through Ortho, social media through honestly, upcoming a lot of academies and sections are going to be sharing it as well. So yeah, it's out there.
Awesome. And yeah, we'll drop all the links in the show notes so everybody can get there easily. Um, what would you say to somebody who's interested and wants to get involved in PT in the community? What advice would you give to somebody who's brand new to this and maybe doesn't know much about it?
Yeah, just show up, right? I mean, that's
Yep.
it. Just show up. I think
Yep.
the best opportunity to show up and kind of see what it's about is that Thursday, 10:30 to 12 in the convention center. Um, if I look real quick at the schedule, it's in the convention center, room 344. Show up around that 10:30 time, right? See what it's about because we'll be putting together a lot of care packages. You'll get to experience that. The other thing I forgot to mention too, Friday morning, if you want to get up at 7 a.m., right? I'll be there, but we're going to be making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches Friday morning. And that's in collaboration with the Population Health SIG of the Academy of Leadership and Innovation. So we'll be doing a combo of making sandwiches and having a meeting. But again, it's one of those things. It's not far off site. Just show up, see what it's about, meet the people that have been doing it. Because like you said earlier, it's the same folks that come back every year and they come back and participate for a reason because it's fun and creates an impact.
Yeah, not the greatest PB&J chef ever, but I enjoyed that portion of it too. That was fun last year as well. Um, what do you have for a big vision and a pipeline dream for this thing? Where do you see the future of PT in the community going?
Yeah, so my thought's always been creating some sort of sustainable system, right, that has a process of performing your community needs assessment to identifying needs, a way to identify locals that can really spearhead things, and that PT in the community provides the resources and support to be successful. We've been doing just CSM for years. The hope is, again, if that model is created, it becomes a plug and play to other conferences across the country where physical therapists meet. So have it be, your local state conference, have it be PPS or the pediatric conference or even leadership congress, right, for House of Delegates that PT in the community helps foster what's going on. I will say that after this upcoming CSM, there is a task force that's going to be put together in collaboration with components. so that everyone and that all components, along with us, have a equitable decision making in terms of what it looks like. And I think with that is going to come with a lot more buy-in from component members, in addition to locals, because they'll have, skin in the game in terms of what is put on.
Yeah, I love it, man. Like I said, this one's near and dear to my heart. You will see me at a couple of the events there, so please come out, join us, support PT in the community. Um, Other than that, I'm looking forward to seeing you, buddy. I mean, this is my favorite part of CSM nowadays.
Yeah, it's my favorite part, man. I mean, at this point, it's the only reason I usually go. I got roped into speaking this year, so I'll be there for that.
Yeah.
But it's usually my only reason for being at CSM, in addition to seeing people like yourself, right? This is the highlight of my year in many cases.
Yeah, I mean it's basically the Super Bowl for PTs, right? Like we all come in once a year for CSM, and why not make it even more impactful, right? Why not give back and just do something that fills your own heart, right? Along with fulfilling other people's needs, right? And helping other people, right? There's part of our practice act says we need to be altruistic, right? We need to do things that are, better for the community, better for, our populations. And this checks that box and much more. So thank you for all you're doing. Like I said, thank you for leading this charge. You've got my buy-in. I'm, like I said, this is my favorite part of the year. So I'm invested. I see myself being a part of this for many years, just because it is meaningful, and it's impactful, and you leave the conference just feeling a little bit better than just, oh, I went and got some CEUs, or I learned something, or whatever. I literally leave feeling good because I volunteered, but also just all the new connections and people and friends that I've met. It's been an amazing experience. So I love the growth year over year, and like I said, anything that we can do to help support you, man, we want to keep that going. So hopefully our listeners will be there and signing up for volunteer positions, donating, do whatever you can. But please come up, see myself, see Patrick, see the crew, and chat, about ideas and where we're going next, and where else you can help and where you can chip in.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it, F. Scott. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the time. Appreciate all the support over the years. It's been awesome. So looking forward to what's to come.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys at CSM.